Today, I wanted to talk a little bit about healthy cycles because, which by the way, I told y'all I'm a little congested. So if I sound like I am, it's because I am. Okay, anyway, so I titled today, what does healthy cycles look or periods look like? And first of all, I use the word period because I know that's how most of you all are used to describing it. I, of course, talk about, or I'm encouraging everyone to start being more comfortable talking about the cycle, the whole entire cycle. To concern ourselves only with the period, with the bleeding part, is like misleading and is not very useful at all. So I really want to talk about this because when I posted those reels about normal, healthy blood loss during the period, a lot of you all were not concerned, but it brought something to the forefront for you all, saying that, okay, I don't quite know if my periods are normal because this looks like mine, and this looks heavy, or it's basically saying that those were the heavy cycles, heavy periods. So I just wanted to kind of talk more about that and make sure everyone had all the information that they needed to, or a little bit more information that they needed to kind of decipher, okay, do you have a healthy cycle? And of course, you may say period, but the cycle is from the first day of your bleed, so day one bleeding, all the way to until the next bleed. So if you start bleeding on the first of the month and then you don't bleed again to the 30th of the month, your cycle was from day one to day 29, the month, day one to the month to 29th, right? The first to the 29th, Lord. So it'll be 29 days, right? So you just count the days in between from bleed to bleed. So I just wanted to talk a little bit about, like I said, what does that look like? What does that mean to have a healthy period or a healthy cycle? So let me know if you have any questions about your cycle in particular, if you feel comfortable sharing or asking, or wanting clarification about yours. Let me know. What if you skip a cycle? So skipping a cycle is definitely a red flag. Your body, your cycle should be regular from month to month. There can be a slight variation, maybe a day shorter or 2 days longer or something like that. But to basically skip a cycle is one of the bigger red flags that something is going on. If you're comfortable, can I ask, is that something you're experiencing, or is that just something you're curious about? So yeah, just let me know if you want to talk more about that. And you can always DM me privately also if you want to. My cycle was about 37 days, and I skipped this cycle, okay, and you're taking pregnancy tests, and they have all came back negative. Okay. So first question, so your cycle length is normally 37 days, or this one was a long one and it was 37 days before, and that's what made you start taking a pregnancy test? Hi, thank you for joining. Just let me know if so. What I'm reading, I think I'm reading, is that basically it was really long. I'm thinking you're saying this one was 37 days, which is surprising. So you're like, okay, let me check and see if I'm pregnant. You took a pregnancy test and it came back negative. And you're wondering if you are skipping a cycle. So it depends on how many days out you are, if the pregnancy test should be accurate or not yet, right? Sometimes they, you can test too early. Okay, so yes, I had a full cycle at the end of July. Then a little spotting on August 5th for 4 to 5 days. Where's my calendar? On August 5th for 4 to 5 days, and still have not got my period. Pregnancy test is negative. So that's a 37-day cycle. Hold on, let me look at my calendar. Spotting for 4 to 5 days. I'm not that quick with the math. So it could be that you were having a little bit. Okay, I'm not looking at exactly at a calendar right now, so I don't have the exact answer. I'm just speculating on thoughts, right? So it could be that when you were seeing the spotting, if you were pregnant, that could have been implantation spotting. but for 45 days, normally it's not that long. It's because implantation would take like a day. So normally it will be maybe a day or two of spotting. And again, I'm not looking at a calendar, so I don't even know if these weeks are mine up. I still have not gotten my period yet, and pregnancy tests are negative. So it definitely is a case-by-case basis because it depends on where you are in where you would be in a pregnancy cycle. So I am curious if you how many days late your period was before you took the pregnancy test, if that makes sense. But to go back to your original question, if you're going to type in some more, wait, hold on. Sorry, ladies, I got confused. Making sure I'm talking to the same person. Okay, hold on 2 seconds. Wildly asked the original question, what if you skip a cycle? I definitely confused you too. I'm so sorry about that. Okay, Wildly says, what if you skip a cycle? Then she said the part about skipping her, taking a pregnancy test. Then Allison Bird, I think, also had a separate question. They were very similar, saying that her cycle was 37 days and it skipped. And also these two questions seem similar, so I got them confused. And she's also saying that I've been pretty consistent until this recent skip in 37 days consistently until this past one. Okay, sorry about that. If you two want to DM me after this, or if you even want to, hang up now and DM me, whatever, we can make sure we get this cleared up. So I'm just going to take a step back and talk in general so that I don't keep confusing these two. Same, I've been consistent too. Yes. So first things first, this is an excellent point. They're both saying consistency, and then bam, something unusual. So yes, hopefully we are all paying attention to those oddities, right? Like if all of a sudden your cycle was, you're used to it being 25 days and all of a sudden it's 35 days. Like, yes, we should all be paying attention to unusual things, right? And normally we are maybe wondering if we're pregnant or not. So I don't think we often let these things slide by anyway, but make sure you're not ignoring those things. And then we want to see what happens for the next cycle. So if you have been, you're not diagnosed with PCOS, that's one of the most common reasons why people skip a cycle or have really long cycles. That's the most common reason. And then if you are testing your pregnancy to see if you're pregnant accurately, based on, certainly what product you bought. Some of them say, oh, by me, I'm early, you can test 6 days early. So making sure you are, within the accurate time frame of when they're testing. So if you're accurate, testing correctly, and you're still missing your cycle, then it could be an issue of every now and then we may miss a cycle. It's common, but not that normal. Does that make sense? Your body should be able to reasonably have your cycle come every month. And if you're not, it's not the end of the world, of course. It could just be stress. It could just be other things throwing off your hormones that month was too much for your body to take and it wasn't able to go through the cycle as normal. But it definitely should be something that is earmarked, put a pin in that and keep your eye on it to see what's going to happen on the next cycle. So like I said to both of you, I definitely, both of the scenarios are so similar. So DM me if you want to keep talking about this. I can look at it a little bit more in detail and pull out a calendar and do the whole thing with you. You can show me your cycle chart if you want. So this is a good point though, to point out, what's normal for you, to see if your cycle is normal anyway, let alone, when you feel like you're having something odd is going on and something unusual is happening to your cycle. That's good to point out. Okay, so she's saying, so this is Allison again, who did she take the pregnancy test? I don't keep confusing them. She did take the pregnancy test. Yes, okay. I'm a little nervous about it being related to PCOS. I need to go to the doctor. Definitely, if you feel concerned, right, ladies, are we being diligent and vigilant about getting answers and clearing this up? I don't think that a one-off should, for example, people who track their cycle, and it's very easy to, you're in your app. It's very easy to get sucked in and start over analyzing things and stressing yourself out, because I like to say that when you're collecting data to chart your cycle, and say you see like a weird tip or something, or a weird day of bleeding, it's the zoom out for me. Okay, you shouldn't always just focus on that one data point, right? You should zoom out and see what's happening in that entire cycle, and then even zoom out again and see comparatively from cycle to cycle. So I'm just saying that to take everything with a grain of salt. I don't know your whole cycle history by this one cycle, this one conversation, but obviously if you feel you have concerns for PCOS, I'm assuming that means this isn't the first time that it's happened, something like that. So definitely yes, but I just want to make sure that we understand that our bodies are very receptive to our environment, for better or for worse, right? It's good because that means we can change things and fix things for the better, all of that. But on the flip side, that means that we're very sensitive. Our womb health, our hormone health, all those things are very sensitive to outside exposure. So having a really late, and that's the other thing. Okay, I'm all over the place, but that's the other thing too. So when we say, just for clarification, my cycle is normally, what is it now? I think it's, let's just pick a number. Okay, my cycle is normally 25, mine is changing. So my cycle is normally, like say 25 days, right? And this young lady is saying, all of a sudden it's 37 days. Or maybe she was saying that it's regular. The point is that we need to know when we ovulate to see what the issue really is. I'm going to explain that a little bit more. I'm going to go back to an example, a random example. If I have a cycle that's normally 25 days and we're on day 30, 35, and that thing still ain't showed up yet, okay, I may be freaking out, or maybe I want to get pregnant. I don't know. But, in that instance, I'm okay, oh my goodness, am I pregnant? The issue is that we need to know when we ovulated. You could have had, what was the math I did? It's normally 25. I said now it's 35. What if your ovulation was 10 days late? What if your ovulation is what pushed the cycle long? Later than normal, a late ovulation will push the rest of the cycle further out as well. Does that make sense? So it's not necessarily that you still ovulated just as normal. You still could have, you and your partner could have fertilized that egg just as normal, and now that thing is cooking and baking this whole extra 10 days. That may not be the case. It may not be the extra 10 days on the post ovulatory part of your cycle. And if you were tracking your cycle, I don't know if you are, but hopefully we are. If we're tracking our cycle, we know when we ovulated. So it could be sometimes when we don't know when we ovulated and we are late. It could be that we just ovulated late, and so our cycle, our period is still coming the 12 to 14 days post ovulation as normal. I said a lot there. I'm going to go back and make one more clarification. Let me know if that made sense. If you have any questions, give me a thumbs up if that made sense. So the point that I'm trying to make is something that we should be aware of. In a person's cycle, yes, there may be a day here, early, late, short, long, shifting a day or so, but most of us are pretty consistent, right? I need a calendar. I'm not quick with the math, but let's take the standard textbook cycle, 28 days, right? We all know that that's BS, right? But I can count that. So let's count that. In the standard textbook cycle, they say that the woman is ovulating on cycle day 14. Because we know how eggs work and follicles work, and the second half of the cycle, once the egg has ovulated, the second half of the cycle, once the egg has ovulated, should be a standard 14 days long, no matter what. That shouldn't change. If your standard post-ovulation length is always 13 days, 10 days, 12 days, 14 days, that part shouldn't change. And that's because the health of the, oh my goodness, I try not to go into too many details, but here we go. Once the egg ovulates out of the follicle now becomes something called a corpus luteum. The lifespan of that structure, the corpus luteum, is standardized. It is your 14 days, it is your 10 days, it is your 12 days from cycle to cycle. So that's why when you ovulate, the number of days left in your cycle should be fixed, minus a day maybe, but not 10 days or something like that, right? But it should still be pretty fixed, maybe a day or two. What is variable, what can be in flux, is the first half of your cycle. The number of days that you bleed may be a day longer or shorter. You may get stressed out, and so while your body is trying to ovulate, it kind of gets knocked out of that, I don't know, can't think of a good term, knocked out of sync or something. That might be a good term. And you try to ovulate and it doesn't ovulate, your egg doesn't ovulate, and then your body say, okay, let's try it one more time. And you try it again, and then you may ovulate. So what pushes this total cycle length longer, let's say an extra 10 days or something, is what happens. My hands can fit in the camera. What happens before ovulation. But after ovulation, because the lifespan of that structure I mentioned, the corpus luteum, the new structure of the follicle, once the egg has left, it makes this new structure called the corpus luteum. That lifespan is fixed. So the point I was making to the young ladies about the gals, the girls, the women, was about trying to figure out, are we late when we think we're late? And we would know for sure if we were tracking and we knew when we ovulated. Our ovulation could have been late, not our, oh no, I think I'm pregnant, late. All right, I said lots of words. Hi, I think we have someone new. Let me know if that made sense. Let me know if you think about it later and you're like, wait, what did she say? You can DM me back and find out what I was saying. But let me know if you have any questions. Yeah, okay. I think that's it for that. But I do encourage you, ladies, like I said, let me know if you want to talk more detail about what's going on with your cycle. If you track, let me know real quick. Let me know who's on here. Give me just a hands up or a plus sign or whatever. I don't know. Let me know if you track your cycle, not your period. I mean, that's going to be real. I don't care about your period. I don't really. I do, but I don't. Which is so crazy that we were taught that the most important thing that's happening is our bleeding. And that's totally false. The most important happening every month during your cycle is your ovulation. Ovulation should be day one. The day you ovulate, that should be day one of your cycle. But we were taught to prioritize, to focus on the bleeding part. Okay, I'm still trying to understand the different phases of the menstrual cycle too. Oh, great. Okay, so I am thinking about hosting sorry, this is driving me crazy. I'm thinking about hosting a workshop. I think I want to do like a free workshop to address stuff like that, because there's so much that we don't know or understand. Excuse me. And there's a lot of confusion. So how can you track? I'm totally on your side. Yeah. How can you track something you don't understand what the phases are? So 2-second tip here is that there are, you can say there are 4 phases. I really kind of like to say there are 2. I think that's more clear. Let's just, for the sake of argument, because that's going to be pretty quick, let's call it 2 phases. There are the 2 phases are pre-ovulatory and post-ovulatory, which is why I said we should be talking about ovulation all the time and not our period bleeding, but whatever. Those are the 2 phases for sake of brevity. Ovulation, of course, is the mark that splits the 2. Your bleeding days would be in the first part, right? You would bleed, and then you have your changes to your cervix, changes to your cervical mucus, all these changes to encourage and accept sperm to be allowed to enter and fertilize an egg. By the time ovulation hits, then the second half of your cycle would be post-ovulation, that's the word, post-ovulation, through the end of your cycle, through the last day, and then you would know it ends, right, when you start bleeding again. Those are the two phases. They are called follicular phase and luteal or luteal, depends on who you're talking to, they may say it differently. The follicular phase gets the follicle ready, so that's in the first half. The luteal phase, remember I said that structure is called the corpus luteum, that's the second half of your phase. So that's a quick little situation, but I do want to host a workshop. DM me after this, because I'm trying to see, you don't want to do something people, you don't have an audience. Maybe that's just me. I want to be able to talk to an audience. I want to make sure that I get a good group of women who want to learn more about their cycle. So DM me just a quick, hey, I'm interested in the cycle training workshop, so I can see, if people want to come. I'm not going to talk to myself. No offense. Okay, one more question here. Could you also explain the difference in the cervical fluid? Yeah, that definitely. I'm going to answer you, but that is a long answer. And that 100% is going to be in the cycle, what I call it, cycle tracking workshop. Quick answer. What's the quick answer for the differences? The difference is that I'm wasting more time trying to abbreviate it, and I should probably just start talking. Yes, I need that workshop. Yeah, girl, I mean, and it's so crazy. Like, I didn't know half of what I knew. Hey, babe, thanks for joining. I didn't know half of what I knew years, even a few years ago, like 2 years ago, so it is definitely, it's so annoying, it's so frustrating, so crazy. This is our bias, we don't know anything. So I'm always eager to share and learn. Sorry, yo, I'm more congested than I realized. Anyway, okay, she wants to know about the cycle cervical mucus, and I'm trying to give her a quick answer. There could be, not everyone goes through the 4 phases. There could be up to 4 different types. There's sticky, which I think most people would recognize it like not chunky, but this is the stuff that may have you, and myself included, have you going to your doc saying, I think I have yeast infection. It's kind of chunky, maybe a little crumbly, maybe like Elmer's paste, not quite, remember paste from school, but thick, less, not that moist, more on the dry side. There's something there, it's white, but there's something there. Then the next phase could be creamy. Again, not everyone has every single one. The next phase could be creamy, like lotion. So it's still kind of a white color, but it's more wet than the thick, chunky stuff. You can see it on top of your tissue. It's like lotion. That's the best one I can think of. Comparison, like lotion. Excuse me, please. Then the next one could be egg white. So the color is actually clear now. It's no longer white, pasty white, or lotion white. It is clear like mucus, cervical mucus. This is what it all hinges on. Cervical mucus. So it's clear. It is most likely stretchy. You may see it on your toilet tissue as egg white. Yeah, it's just stretchy egg white. It will stretch. You may see it. It may start dangling from places, and just likes to have fun and just be really, really, really stretchy. So that's the very quick version of what cervical mucus is. And there's another one, it's just more wet. It doesn't have a lot of consistency. You can't really grab it, but it's more wet. And you would know the difference between, I like to tell my clients to make sure they wipe first. Don't pee and then wipe and try to see, okay, is this pee or is this cervical mucus? Good. Okay, who can tell? Or maybe you have a good eye, you could tell. So eliminate the confusion, wipe first, look at it. Does it sit on top of the tissue, or does it soak in, like when tissue looks wet from pee or water or whatever, moisture, regular moisture? Does it sit inside the tissue, or does it sit on top of the tissue? Could you touch it? Could you grab it? Could you rub it? Also, if you rub water between your finger, it feels a lot different and it absorbs and evaporates like that. Versus if you rub cervical mucus between your finger, it's slippery, it's lotiony, it's not really quick to go anywhere. You can, rub it away eventually, but it's not like quick to evaporate. Okay, let me just scroll back. Hi, we have a few more joining. Y'all, I can't talk. Make sure I didn't miss any questions. The last one was about the cervical mucus. Oh my God, thank you. The egg white. Yes, that stuff is like, it's so stretchy. It's so stretchy. What does the egg white mean? Does the egg white mean you're ovulating? Okay. This is all going to be in the workshop, but I don't want to not answer questions. I'm like, just doing the workshop. But trust me, all this is going to be in the workshop. So I think this means you might be coming, but I still answer. So does the egg white mean you're ovulating? Yes. Remember I said there are 4 of them, and maybe not everyone has all 4 of them, but there should be a progression. This is me thinking about how to quickly explain it. Not that I'm okay. It's not complicated, so I don't want to I'm trying not to make it intimidating, but it's so many moving parts. But to answer your question, yes, it means that you are. Oh, hold on, sorry. Mailing list. I'm not even sure how you started following. Yeah, I was actually going to say something. Are you following me? But yes, no, welcome. Thank you for following me. I hope you're enjoying yourself so far and learning something new today. I'm going to be posting if and when I do it, which I'm pretty sure I'm going to do it, but I just want to make sure that it was a good idea. But it sounds like you all think it's a good idea. So when I do it, I'll be sure to post directly to my feed, because not everyone watches all my stories, or both. I'll post to my feed in case you're a feed person, and I'll post to my stories in case you're a story person. It will, be next month, like in October or something. I think. I don't think I can pull it together that fast. I'm just getting, preliminary interest. See who wants it, who's gonna be there. Someone had to remind me what I was talking about. I was in the middle of talking about ovulation. Yes, egg white ovulation. Does that mean you're ovulating? Yes, because all these changes are happening to allow the sperm to enter to be fertilized. Not only is it allowing, making a road, making a conduit, right, for the sperm to swim in, right? The swimmer's got to swim, right? And so it gives them a place to swim, but it also feeds them. It has certain nutrients that sperm needs. It protects them because your vaginal environment is acidic. So, to kill off bacteria, like you're not trying to get yeast infection, like your body's like, okay, girl, I got you. We're going to make this acidic, all these type of things, right? So it feeds them, it's acidic, it actually gives them a physical, what's the word? Like somewhere to swim through, something to swim in. A medium, maybe that's the word, like a medium through which to swim. What else does it do? All those good things, right? And it protects it and saves it and keeps it healthy in time for ovulation. So all of those changes in the phases of your cervical mucus leads to the most sperm friendly one. Egg white is the most sperm friendly one, the most likely to help you succeed in getting pregnant. The other ones, the creamy, the sticky, they can still help you get pregnant, but not as much as this one, if that makes sense. But because of the progression, because of the lifespan of sperm, you can still have sex on these days, the creamy days, the sticky days. You can still, even sometimes some women, depending on how short your cycle is, have sex when you're bleeding, during your period, and still that sperm is still good to go by the time ovulation happens, whatever day down here. But within like a 5 to 6 day window. We'll go through all of that in the workshop. Okay. I'm glad that that's helpful. No, you don't need to join the mailing list. I already answered that. I'm going to message you. Yeah, definitely message me. Yes, message, and that's a good point. She's just going to message me so she doesn't miss it. Yeah, if you want to be on my DM list, I'll make sure I have like a, hey girl, remember you said to hit you up? Okay, I can stay on for 9 more minutes. Hopefully this is recording down here on, excuse me, on my computer. It says it is. Any other information we might want to become more aware of before the workshop so we can get the most out of it? No. So just in case I didn't say this, and if I'm repeating myself, I apologize. But maybe I didn't say this, but my incentive, my thought process of hosting this workshop is because I have recently realized that I be talking and y'all don't know what I'm talking about. Like, say I didn't say no one was on here asking me questions, I would have probably just started talking about cycle this and follicular health this and that, and y'all don't even know, the language. So that was my encouragement, because I don't think this is and I definitely want to make it free because it's definitely Googleable. You may not know what you're reading, but this is information that we all should have access to. Should be general information. This isn't, I'm not claiming this as part of my expertise as a fertility nutritionist, and this is only knowledge that I have gained through my study. No, it's not that. It's not specific. Okay, how can I help you? Just by telling you how your body works, telling you how your cycle works, telling you, unfortunately, that may be a red flag. That should be general information. And someone mentioned earlier about going to see their doctor. Yeah, getting the information of what's normal and what's not normal should be easily and readily, accessible and free and all that. So I definitely wanted to make it free. So that's not exactly your question. Your question is, do you need to know anything else? No, I think the point of this free workshop is to provide the basic information. I think this could be and should be maybe step one. What may be helpful is a better question to you is, I can't remember, and I don't have time to scroll. Sorry if this wasn't you, but if you aren't tracking, start tracking. I use the Kindara app, Kindara. I just got my temp drop. I talk too fast. I just got my temp drop. Loving it. Like really, really loving it. But that's another post, another video for another day. Because it also has a cycle tracking. I said that because it also has a cycle tracking thing built into their app. But Kindara app is amazing, and it's free. There has premium. Everybody wants you to upgrade, but you can get the free version. So you need to be tracking your cycle. If you can start tracking, even if you think you might be guessing wrong, like I think this is eggwhite, I think this is sticky, it's better something than nothing. At least I can know she had something going on. Like if you end up sharing your chart with me and we can talk about it. Because I may do something like that, like do like a little hot seat kind of thing. Have someone join live and say, hey, do you want to share your chart with me? This may be a good tool to use to talk about each phase with everyone. So I think I probably would do that to get someone some more help. And then, so yeah, just if you are charting your cycle, that will probably be the best, because it will help you know what I'm talking about. Does that make sense? Like if you never even looked at a chart, looked at a cycle, looked at the moving parts of your cycle, whether you're and I would love if you could start tracking your BBT, because that's so valuable. But things like that will help. But then you're like, okay, I don't know how to do that. But that's the whole point of I see it's like a vicious circle. But it's a good place to start somewhere. Like I said, I'd rather you do it wrong. I'd rather you be trying to learn, trying to figure out, come to the workshop, then get some, clarify that. Now I can do it better, than to not know anything. And then once the workshop is over, fingers crossed, you can all of a sudden just start doing it perfectly. Does that make sense? I'd rather you try, get to point, 1.3, and then comes the workshop, and then I'll take you to 0.2, between us. Hope that makes sense. That was a weird little analogy. Yes. Okay. Yeah. Good. So thank you. Actually, this is encouraging me to definitely do the workshop. I was a little like, maybe I shouldn't, but this is encouraging me definitely to do it. And I will make sure that I'll just do my best to post a lot, post it everywhere often, give you all a nice little heads up about when I'm going to be doing it, so that everyone who wants to join can join. And you can get some good, these are, by the way, great questions, great participation. Great. I like the back and forth. Make sure I'm not just talking to myself on the screen. So that I love that. So I appreciate it. I can answer most general questions without it being, a conflict, or sometimes I can't answer things because I'm not your provider. So I don't know your history. I don't know what meds you're on. I don't know What surgery? I can't always answer things, but if you have some simple questions, I should be able to. Oh, thank you. Having to support your vision thing. Oh, thank you so much. Yeah, that really means so much to me. I just want, again, like I said, I didn't know half of this stuff 2 years ago, and it's mind-boggling. So the little that I can do, it's not a lot, but the little that I can do, a free workshop to teach you all about, like, it's so crazy that we don't know this, but to teach you a little bit about your cycle. I have no problem doing that though. Oh, good. You're going to start integrating it into your journaling practice. Awesome. Yes, yes. To have a system, to have a routine. There's something like cycle journals. Because y'all, when we realize the connections between, because it's all one system, all one body, all one other, we separate it, but really it's all the same thing. So when we realize that what's happening here, what's happening here, what's happening with our emotions, our stress, or whatever, what's happening with our cycle, when it's all crazy doing it wants to do skipping cycles and all that, when we realize that they are like the same, the one in the same, we could be so much further. Because once you know, you can name it. Once you name it, you can address it. Once you address it, you can fix it. You can support it. You can, eliminate it. You can reduce it, just make it, but whatever words you want to throw in there. Once you can figure out what's going on and have that, oh, I do have this when I'm really stressed out. Oh, I do have this when I, skip breakfast or whatever it is. Like when we realize the interconnectedness and the overlaps of all these things, we can make our lives so much better. The whole body, head to toe, mind, body, soul health thing is so important. So I want to do my little small part that I can. All right, that is all that I have. I really appreciate everyone who joined in live. I am going to repost this to my YouTube channel, which is Moon Catching with Erica. Hopefully today, if I can figure it out. Sometimes technology be just embarrassing me, like making me look bad. But hopefully I can figure it out and how to get it up there. And then let me know. DM me if you have any questions. Let me know if you want to do the how about this? When I hang up from this too, and later today, I'll repost the sticker. Let me know who wants to join the workshop, and I'll screenshot the yeses, and you all will be on my DM list, my little, I don't have a mail list because I'm not doing all that. We're just gonna make this simple, make it quick, make it easy. So let me know if you want to join. And then anyone who's watching on the replay, just type in the comments if you want to join the workshop. All right. Thank you all so much for joining me. It's always so good to have these combos. And I'll be back for another one. Bye.